Hi everyone, this is Melanie with Astrology. Today is April 3rd, 2022, and I felt called to do an astrological weather view, so to say, for the week. And to break it down a bit, also to break down the astro news that I write for every new moon and full moon that covers 2 weeks. And wouldn't it be nice to just have a view for the week in video format? Duh, why haven't I done it before? Time is now, says the ARIES New Moon that we just had on the 31st of March here at Pacific. And anywhere east of Pacific, it was April 1st. Lots of ones. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. This was the first new moon of the astrological year and of spring, of course. And it's been quite activating. Activating for Mercury, which is about communication, and of course also for Chiron. Chiron has been closely linked to the new moon. In the meantime, the sun and the moon pass Chiron, which happens once a year for the sun, for the moon once a month. And this has been such a Chiron activation. So what is Chiron? A quick review of Chiron before we go into the week, because this activation and this new moon cycle extends actually way beyond the new moon, because it catalyzes Chiron. Chiron is known as the wounded healer teacher, and that is, of course, a story related to that, mythological story around the inner medicine, just to cut it to the chase here, for the inner medicine to emerge out of what is commonly known as a healing journey or a healing crisis, or a point where with all our own understanding or own offering, we can't help ourselves, but we have to dig deeper and be open, and whatever the medicine and the medicine path may be, to access what really is healing for us. And with Chiron in Aries since 2019, yes, until 2027, it's a lot about letting the medicine emerge from within, from the inside out, very authentic and very, for lots of us, also feels like autonomous medicine, healing forces that are very self-determined with Aries, which of course can also create conflict in society, and with a common denominator at this point, or the uncommon denominator that we're having regarding what is the appropriate medicine and medical approach. Of course, Chiron rules the medicine field in all regards, including the established medicine that we're currently having in society. And of course, it brings out new healing modalities because Chiron is in Aries. So a lot of newness to pop up, and lots of it won't go anywhere. It's just like fireworks with Aries, or sparks. And others are just a matter of emerging, right? It's like so fresh and new and raw, and being born out of this battlefield, which is also Aries ruled by Mars. So there's a lot going on here, lots of conflict, maybe also inner conflict, leading us to our wounds, yet also to our medicine, and leading us to our inner early wounds. So Aries has to do with early stages in life and earlier stages in humanity. So there's lots to say about that, and you probably get the idea and have an also sense of the content, the connection and context where it can really apply these days. And so the Chiron in Aries new moon has been very activating, and for some of us maybe also a healing crisis that could have emerged from it. And now we are in the new moon phase, in the waxing moon phase. The moon is actually now in Taurus, and that is much more grounding, settling, calming, enjoyable. And that goes on until tomorrow, Monday evening. Except Taurus moon, yes, but the Taurus moon also connected today, this morning, with the planet Uranus, which is now in Taurus also, I should say, since 2019 until 2026. So Uranus rocks the boat and kicks us out of our comfort zone, out of habits, but it can be also very unsettling and can be very disruptive. A lot of nature has been have gone through lots of erratic and disruptive developments, whether that is man-made, likely. Question is where it all comes from, and whether that's simply part of the cycle that is currently in place. Anyway, we see the effects in nature, and we see the effects also in human nature in terms of thinking, especially with Uranus ruling technology and innovation. So with a lot of technological disruption affecting the human body. So there's Wi-Fi, there's electromagnetic stress, there's devices that go under the skin, craziest stuff going on. And is this the new biosphere or the new biotech sphere? We don't know. Uranus is not comfortable in Taurus. It's actually most challenged traditionally in Taurus. And that goes on until 2026. So Taurus likes everything calm and steady and grounded and natural. And Uranus is shaking things up and shaking things loose. So we want to also work with those energies, not just, resist from a Taurian perspective, but actually allow newness to come in, experiment with new places in nature, on planet Earth, that your body is comfortable and enjoys itself at. So really listening to the messages of the body doesn't lie if we have a good, solid, and natural instinctual connection with it. Yeah, so the moon activates Uranus once a month, and the next new moon that comes up on the 30th of April. Yes, April is framed by 2 new moons, as was March for the West Coast anyway, because we had a new moon on March the 2nd and then another one on the 31st. And now April, you could say, is also framed by 2 new moons if you take April 1st and April 30th, because the next new moon will be in Taurus, of course, and a partial solar eclipse. So I will say more about that as it gets closer, but just for now, that new moon will be with Uranus. So that is another activation of yet another archetype through that new moon. It's also a seed eclipse. It plants new seeds. And Uranus in Taurus, one of the mantras I have for that is to embody freedom in all regards where it applies most to us. And I like that quote that I just also shared with a client the other day on yesterday. Quote by Krishnamurti, who would point out and provoke us with that statement: freedom, true freedom, doesn't have an opposite. What is freedom without an opposite? Freedom, that's not just the freedom from, freedom for, as we usually associate with, but that's another, predicament, because we want to get away from something uncomfortable and be free from it, or be free for something that brings more joy, more pleasure. But it's not real freedom, right? So, freedom without an opposite, is that possible? Can we tap into simply being free as such, unconditionally? And yeah, so the new moon can bring that out, the next new moon, which is a partial solar eclipse. And it's interesting, at that moment where I said partial solar eclipse, the screen went dark and came back. It was just got a little lazy, like Taurus, right? We had to reactivate it. Anyway, everything is synchronized and synchronistic. I love it. So, what is going on this coming week? So this week starts, as I said here today, with the Taurus moon and tomorrow as well. What's also going on tomorrow is, yes, the Taurus moon will be in square with Aquarius. So it is comfortable, but yet also there's some tension, if not conflict, between these two energies. Taurus likes calm, slow, steady nature, and we have a need for that. Also food, enjoyment, all our senses being enjoying and relaxing, while Aquarius is more wired, and Aquarius actually also is not so much about nature, it's more about community or systems. And a nice way of actually bringing the two together would be to have a nice, enjoyable time with a friend or with community, either over food or in nature. And how about that? So that's an energy of tomorrow. And then actually the new moon, if it's a clear evening, is already visible in the evening sky now with the first sliver. Yes, today we have a gray day here, but maybe you can already see the first sliver of the waxing moon. It's also called the young moon, virgin moon, slowly growing and wandering away from the sun towards east. So still setting after the sun in the west, but then climbing higher in the ecliptic and towards east from west. As she grows her belly. And this week also we'll see, speaking of moon belly, this week we also see the moon in Cancer in her own abode, and that will be a half moon. Half moon, or you could, some people say quarter moon. I don't quite know why, because maybe it's the quarter of the lunar cycle. Could say that, but it's in the sky. It's half of the moon disk is lit by the sun, and that is some tension and crisis also in the lunar cycle, and of course, and emotionally can bring out more tension in this case also, since the moon in Cancer in her own abode and the sun in Aries where the sun is really strong. And that will be, let me just double check, on April the 8th, that is Friday, is the half moon. Friday evening, actually, Friday night, Friday to Saturday. And so it can bring out that tension between our emotional needs and sensitivity and care and longing and belonging and all that soft, gentle, tender energy that we want to be in, while at the same time it's very dynamic Aries season ruled by Mars. So we might want to do a lot and be very active, and yet at the same time we need to take care of our rhythms and cycles, right? So be gentle with yourself, even though all these drives and impulses come up. And that is towards the weekend. Weekend on Saturday will be also still the moon in Cancer, and then she goes into Leo on Saturday, Sunday night. So that will be very fiery. The sun in Aries and the moon in Leo at that on Sunday and Monday next week. just from the lunar cycle, a few dynamics there. So take it easy with the Cancer moon, and follow your instincts and your needs, and be gentle with yourself. What's also going on, more water element is coming in, even though we're in the fire of Aries, but Venus will enter Pisces on the 5th. Oh, wait a minute, backtracking. Yeah, okay, so getting there, but tomorrow, in chronological sequence, tomorrow on Monday the 4th, 4/4/2022, will be the day when Mars passes Saturn. Yes, 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 in the evening Pacific. So Mars in Aquarius passes Saturn, the last one to pass Saturn. Venus already passed Saturn last Monday. And I would say that was already a movement beyond these obstacles and fears and restrictions and heavy energy, negative energy, judgment, all of that roaming, all of that in a way polluting or really influencing the atmosphere of humanity. Yet there's so much to learn from it, and it has a lot to do with division, separation, Saturn, self-protection, being guarded, but typically based on fear. So we are called to check in what power and authority do I give to fear, especially in the social and societal context with Saturn in Aquarius. And now Venus past Saturn. That's already much, much lighter and more loving and more connective. So love beyond fear, and also seeing whom we are attracted to at this point, who is our social tribe, where our friends, reconnecting with friends after all these feeling held back, or feeling, yes, I need to guard and protect myself, or those people over there, maybe connecting to people really without the judgment or beyond judgment, right? And now Mars is conquering Saturn, I should say, right? Or going beyond Saturn. So Mars is action, courage, boldness, right? So taking action where you have felt held back, and be overcautious or overly held back in fear again, or via your judgment. So Mars says, go for it, do something, approach people with Aquarius, be the warrior of light, and link up with other warriors of light, because Aquarius is a circle, it's not a solo endeavor. So great with Mars in Aquarius. Mars will go into Pisces on the 14th, so we can go into that theme next week. If I do this again, I guess so, because I'm having fun with it. Anyway, and hope you appreciate it too. So, so back to this week and back to Tuesday, which is one of the sweet highlights of the week. Venus enters Pisces, which is her most beloved, most sublime, most exalted. It's called place to be, and there will be from Tuesday the 5th of April until May the 2nd. So covering the phase until the next new moon, which will be partial solar eclipse on the 30th. And so Venus in Pisces brings out our connectedness, our unconditional love. It can feel also that strong longing for oneness. And if that is mixed up with some confusion and goes into sort of a lower vibration, we might want to check out and escape and go into altered states that take us out of everything. Yet it's usually the theme here is about connection. So maybe we don't feel genuinely connected with people, with ourselves. It starts with ourselves. It starts with self-love that is connected to source and feeling loved by source, by life, by all that is. And from that place, exuding a different vibration and being in the flow with life and attracting with ease. And so it's a good time to just check in. What are my attractions these days? Because it's always a mirroring effect too, right? So what I'm attracting has to do with my vibration and with my self-love, especially with Venus in Pisces, and being open. Yet also checking in where you might be too open and too overwhelmed and too like uh, wanting everything at once, wanting it all. It's like nothing wrong with it, but it can be overwhelming, right? So it's a wonderful time for connecting via music and to music and flow and dance and all of that, right? And to spring, to blossoms, to nature, and just being in a good vibration with it. Venus in Pisces. And then what else is going on? A Gemini moon on also Tuesday and Wednesday into Thursday. Then the moon in Cancer, and that's a Saturn Friday, moon square sun, so that half moon energy on Saturday. Moon in Cancer still going very strong. On Sunday, which is Palm Sunday in a Christian world, we have another alignment that is Mercury at the very end of Aries goes into square with Pluto at the very end of Capricorn. And that will be literally just a few hours before Mercury enters Taurus from Aries, right? So it will go into Taurus on April 10th till 29th. But before that, it makes that square, right? A square again, we have the square from the moon. Square is a tension. It's a dynamic aspect. It's something that we also it can activate us. You want to do something with it, not just sit on it and be sort of frustrated and angry or something. It could easily bring out anger actually against something because Aries is ruled by Mars, right? And could the anger could have to do with something or somebody who apparently has the power. Pluto, if we project that onto external forces or people. And of course, that experience can show up, yet it still takes us actually to going deeper, going to our own inner power dynamics would be wonderful to explore that and journal about it or talk about it with friends or do your own solo recording about it if you want, Aries. And what's going on about me and power. So this is building up for the whole week, if you will. And the point would be to actually come to your power source, to your core, to your indestructible one, something that nothing can take away from you, and a force and a source within that is always there, always has your back, and always is resilient. It always comes back and brings you back, and when you connect with it, um, there's power there, right? You're not losing power, you actually get to regenerate it. So what is that part in us where our true source of power lies is a great reflection with Mercury square Pluto in Capricorn. And Pluto will also soon go retrograde and break that cycle, break that phase of no retro planets since early February when Mercury went out of retro. So Pluto will go retro on the 29th of April. Yeah, that's also the day when Mercury leaves Taurus. Anyway, end of April will be quite a lot going on because it's also the eclipse, right, on the 30th. but I'm getting a little ahead of it. Yet Pluto is slowing down and going into this retro U-turn mode over the month of April, and then from the retro side, catching momentum and going a bit slowly faster in retro after May. So April, May are stationary Pluto energies. So it's a strong focus on Pluto, and Pluto has to do with power and evolution. So the power of evolution, maybe something powerful in us is wants to help us to evolve, right, on a deeper level. And it brings out our shadow, our triggers that are of the old, or having to do with old world consciousness, because that's also Capricorn, and Capricorn can have to do with lots of things, including like the whole power and authority pyramid in society. Who's in charge? Who's the boss? Who are the rulers, or is the ruler? And how we are linked and what's our contract with that, and still doing these power games and dynamics with them, or how do we find power within? And it has, Capricorn also has to do with accomplishment, achievement, and sometimes it can show up with Pluto some ingrained or conditioned compulsion to be the achiever, right? So to be successful. What is real success in your own empowered place, right? So there's lots to that, lots to explore, and I find it always really interesting to know the astrological language, because it gives you so much reference, right? So when you say Capricorn, when it's a combination of Pluto and Capricorn, there's a whole spectrum of experiences with it. And what I really like about working with astrology and working with clients one-on-one is to be able to help people identify where they experience the energies and how that can actually be taken to a different level and experienced in a better way. That is not so much of a lower vibration, which is often painful and frustrating and all that, right? So that's where it's at, and I of course invite you to that exploration. If you'd like to book a session with me, or if you'd like to come in person in Victoria, you're most welcome, or otherwise we do it on Zoom. And as you have seen, if you received my newsletter, email newsletter, then you might have seen that I also have a quick Aries offer on at this point, which gives everybody with something in Aries a opportunity for 44 minutes. Aries is fast and likes the fours in terms of April. So a 44-minute session, Aries focused session, especially after the Aries New Moon, and for $44. That is amazing, because it's less than 50% of my regular fees. So if you want to jump up on that, you're most welcome. And I will post the link to the Facebook page with the offer in the show notes below the video, and I will also have a few other links so you can connect with me. Anyway, this was the Astro Weather View, I call it, of the week. And I might well do this again and again. Let's see. Aries says just get started and do it once and see what happens. So wishing you a wonderful week, and be activated and be in your power. Bye.